call the July 17th Knox County Juvenile Service Center Board of Directors meeting to order. I'll start by calling the roll. Commissioner Rawls.
Present.
Commissioner Jackson.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Jay.
Here.
We have all members present. Also, we have other guests, and if you would introduce yourself, Judge, and your staff.
All right, I'm Tim Irwin. I'm the juvenile court judge. I also have my magistrates, if you guys are here, that will stand up. Angela Blevins, Stacy Eckert, Irene Joseph, and Bo Reed. Magistrate Reed is primarily who this board would be concerned with, associated with. He handles the vast majority of my delinquent cases. So he will be the guy that decides whether or not the children will be detained on almost an everyday basis. I would handle some of the more serious matters, or when he's gone, I would handle them, or when they're appealed to me. But Bo Reed is the guy that actually would work closest with the detention that's in the room. All right.
Good afternoon, Brian Newlands, the interim director of the Richard Bean Detention Center. Thanks for having me.
Also, I have my court director, Heidi Garrett, is here. She's one of 3 court directors that do pretty much everything behind the scenes, including interface with detention. And she's over, among other things, our computer system here, which will be key in your all's job.
Okay, so I'll follow the agenda. Do we have any amendments or additions to the agenda? No. Okay, our next item is election of officers. So I'll start with a roll call for each commissioner to make a nomination. And as I call your name, state the nominee or a pass. So
Are the officers chair, vice chair, and secretary, or just chair and vice chair?
well, I'm not sure because it just says officers.
That's chair, vice chair.
Chair, I know, and vice.
Okay.
Probably secretary too, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so I'll start with election of chair. So this is for nominations. Commissioner Rawls,
I'll nominate Commissioner Jay for chair.
Commissioner Jackson, Commissioner Hill,
Pass.
Commissioner Lee,
Pass.
Commissioner Jay.
Pass.
Commissioner Jay, would you accept the position if elected?
Yes.
Okay. So do I have a motion? We don't have any other nominations, so do I have a motion to appoint or elect Commissioner Jay for chair for the board?
Motion to accept Jay as our chair.
Have a second to the motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Commissioner Jay, you are the chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Clerk, open up the nominations for vice chair of the board. If you'll do a roll call for nominations, please.
Starting with Commissioner Jackson,
Pass.
Commissioner Hill,
Rawls.
Commissioner Lee,
Jackson.
Commissioner Jay,
Rawls.
and Commissioner Rawls. Okay, so the nominees are Commissioner Rawls and Commissioner Jay. I'm sorry, Commissioner Jackson. I'll start a roll call. You state the commissioner that you would like to elect for vice chair, starting with Commissioner Hill,
Rawls.
Commissioner Lee,
Jackson.
Commissioner Jay,
Rawls.
Commissioner Rawls, Commissioner Jackson.
Jackson. Does the pass wish to vote?
Right.
Because it's a tie.
But it leaves it at that. So no, I will vote for myself.
Motion to approve Commissioner Rawls as vice chair.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say no. The ayes have it. Congratulations. Open up nominations for secretary for the board. We don't know if we have to have this position, but let's go ahead and can approve somebody to our clerk is here to take minutes for today, and that may be the case, but just in case we need one, we'll have to put it on the agenda later.
May I make a suggestion in the form of a motion if needed, that we allow our clerk's office to be the official secretary and record keeper?
Motion to approve.
Okay, all right.
We'll work through that. All in favor of having the clerk be the secretary of the board?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you very much. Let's start very quickly. We didn't have a sign-up sheet because it wasn't a formal process on this, but as required by Tennessee state law, we were required to have a public forum at every meeting. Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak? Up to 3 minutes and address the board. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on from that item. We'll open that up on a future basis. I want to open up the meeting with just a discussion of the Juvenile Service Center. I'd like both Juvenile Court Judge Tim Irwin and Brian Bivens to just give an overview to this board and the public at large of where we are and what your hopes are for the future, and any broad, big things that you think this board needs to begin understanding. We're not going to have time or detail yet to get into the weeds, but I'll start with you, Judge Irwin.
Thank you, Commissioner. No one in the third grade, when they asked what you want to be when you grow up, nobody said, I want to be a guard in the Richard Bean Detention Facility. It's a tough job. You can't hit back. You have some very difficult young men and women that you got to handle that are accused sometimes of some pretty heinous things. It's a serious job. But they're also kids, and they got to be treated like kids. We've had injuries in the past 2 weeks, had people getting hurt. We've had to call the police on a couple of occasions for extra assistance. We've had questions about medical appropriateness and procedures, how we're giving out medicine, access to medical care. So my priority, and I'm sure it's the board's priority, the first thing has got to be safety for the children that are back there, safety for the workers that work with the children. That's my number one overriding concern. Second would have to be accountability. You've got to account for what you're doing. You've got to follow state law. You've got to report correctly to the state about what your activities are. You've got to, you got a new computer system to learn, which will take some time. I could stand before you in my past 20 years and I can't document mistreatment of children. It just hadn't happened here. We have a very low population of kids per capita here, and that's good. If we do our job, if these three ladies right here do their job well, then we won't be raising kids in tough situations and they won't end up back there. When we have them back there, we've got to give them programs, we've got to give them school, we've got to take care of their health, both physically and mentally. Our mental health services are basically called mobile crisis when somebody gets out of hand. And what Dr. Bly and her 5 interns can give us, I'd love to see that expanded. I'd love to see more mental health services available in our detention. But I'm confident, based on what I've seen the last several days, and based on my personal interviews with the guy we got that's going to come in and run things, he's experienced, he has a lot of energy for a retired person. We may wear him down after he's been here a while, but I like his attitude, I like his professionalism, I like some of the things I've heard about him, some of the things that he's told me he's done lately. So I think we're lucky to have acting Superintendent Bivens for a while, and I'm excited that our kids are going to get the very best. I'm sorry that anybody ever has to go to a detention facility, and it's a last resort for us. But when you're dangerous and society's got to be protected from you for a while, and you've got some things you got to turn around, I hope we can make our place the best in the state. I think it has been for a lot of years. But we've got to put it back where it was and make it better.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Bivens?
Good afternoon. As far as my priorities, as the judge said, initially, safe and secure facility is paramount. There's some things there specifically that I've identified that we're going to be working on. Priorities for the staff. I want well-trained professional staff. Already developed a 3-week training program for them before they hit the floor. So I think that's paramount. We'll be cross-training them in different areas of the facility. The more flexibility that we have with our staff, the better it's going to run. Hopefully, we'll be able to identify some superstars and promote them to supervisory positions. That's another critical thing. You have to have structure when it comes to chain of command to hold folks accountable. So that's a high priority for me as well. And then long term, just a basic career development program for these individuals. There's a lot of shining stars that work in the facility. Staffing levels was a concern initially. I conducted some interviews yesterday. Proud to say we're going to have the first juvenile corrections officer training academy starting August the 4th for that 3-week training program. Still got a little ways to go. Got some more vacancies to fill, but that's going to be very important. And for the juveniles, Judge is 100% correct. And we'll be focusing on additional programming that can be challenging just because of the turnover that we have. So identifying some of the needs that we can add to what we currently have, especially anger management, decision making, those kind of life skills, those kinds of things. I'm sure that we can add to what we're currently doing. We've got a couple of meetings coming up next week to discuss those opportunities. There's so many people that I've met and talked with so far in this past 2.5 weeks. 13 meetings last week, 9 so far this week. Met some fantastic people wanting to roll their sleeves up and jump in. Knox County Schools have been tremendous. The health department has been a tremendous partner already. All the folks in the city county building, from HR to risk management to law director, obviously the mayor's office, Sheriff Spangler and his staff have been just helped me out so much already. And I look forward to continue to working with each of them. Just be careful. If you ask me if I need something, I'm going to tell you. So that's kind of the way I operate. So there's a lot to do. I'll hopefully be putting a strong team around me. It's my goal as quick as possible to establish, like I said, some more structure and organization and develop those leaders that I know I have there already.
Thank you. Commissioners, I thought to start off our discussion, this is the first meeting. We're just literally blank slate, starting point for all of us. But I thought about asking what are the sort of future agenda items that you all want to tackle in the coming months. We have a transition period between now and the end of the calendar year, and then a discussion about the partnership with the Sheriff's Office beyond that. So that's certainly the MOU or the agreement or the structure is one of those items. But what are if we think of six times that we're going to gather, what are the things that you all want to accomplish at this board meeting, or you want the team to be able to start bringing to the table?
So let me answer that with another question. What is in the past, what is a typical board packet include?
There hasn't been.
Yeah.
When I say we're starting with a blank slate,
Okay. Well, let me.
grab me a piece of paper and that's
so
what
these
it
are
is.
some things I
Yeah.
jotted down. I can email these to you, Brian.
There was a superintendent's report, for sure, it was one of the items that was always on there. There was a number of haircuts. There was the health inspections. There was let's see, there was two types of inspections. Oh, there was a food inspection, health inspection. There was any report we got from the state concerning PREA. There was a report on the number of training hours that we had. And if there were any needs, those were talked about. But mostly it was the superintendent's report that we did as the body of our meeting. It wasn't a terrible structure. There just wasn't a lot of substance or questions to those items. The superintendent's report took up 7/8 of the meeting.
Do you have some agenda items that you want to?
I do. These are just some things that I would like to see that are brought to the board. I know this is, an evolving process, but to start out with the, what's our time frame on each of our action items? So, what is our action item for this? And that's 90 days. Our action item for this is December. Our action item for this is June of next year, and then be able to see how we're progressing. I would love to see, a summary of any reports by DCS or any other, governing body. I don't know if you have at this point a budget or an income statement of condition that we can review the financials. I'd like to see a list of open positions and any hirings and terminations that we've done in the past month.
We did get that at most board meetings, but we asked for it. But when we asked for it, we got
What
it.
we'll do is put together a structure and kind of slot these things out.
And this last one kind of goes back to the time frame, but, again, one of the things I would like to see as part of this board is a plan on how to get to having an accredited juvenile detention facility.
What's that look like? Commissioner Lee?
Commissioner Jackson kind of touched on it, the staffing situation. Just how many openings we have, how's it going, how many's training, what is that process like?
I would say the work chart would be really helpful as well, once you get it built. I know it doesn't.
It'd probably be helpful for some of us to be able to help promote the need if we know how much the position's paid.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
Commissioner Rawls?
I'd like to see, in addition to what they both said, maybe an incident report. There are any incidents that happened in the facility. What happened with it over the past 2 weeks?
All of them were.
We'll probably do this on a monthly basis, so.
No, just kind of like a rolling, we did not have any incidents this past 6 months or whatever, like in our time frame. Yeah, and then maybe once we get the CTAS report, if we can create any KPIs around that, and then measure how we're getting to those KPIs. So we can figure that part out once we can identify what are our top KPIs.
CTAS will be on site August the 5th through the 8th.
Commissioner Hill, are there items that you want to add to the agenda going forward?
Yes, and I was very pleased in our tour to hear Mr. Bivens already bring this up, but I'm very concerned about the outdates in our policies and procedures. It's very important that this is something that clearly had not been looked at in years and years, and there needs to be established policy and procedure for the whole facility.
Other items?
No, that's
I
we'll
think,
cover the rest.
I think one of the other notes that I see you have is this goes with staffing of the employee handbook, the ethics code, the things that all Knox County employees have to abide by and go through, and
Yes.
an understanding of has
Right.
everybody gone through that checklist and
They need to see our Knox County handbook, which I would imagine when we set up our new policies and procedures would be something that we would certainly include when new hires come in.
I'm currently in the process of getting emails for all staff members, and we're spoken with HR, and once that happens, they'll email them a copy.
Great, thank you for that.
The only other thing that I will add to all of the things that always discussed is a robust discussion probably in the second or third month about the future makeup of the board. I'm a big believer that I think this board is good for a transition period to be elected officials, all elected officials, but that we ought to look at a timeline, and I don't know if that's 6 months when the potential partnership with the sheriff happens, or sometime within the first year. What does the board look like going forward? I think a couple of elected officials is good as it connects to our legislative body, but I also think bringing in experts in juvenile services, people outside of the bubble of government is going to be incredibly helpful for long-term success, and we should talk about what that looks like and what that is in the process to essentially work a few of us out of a job and leave it in better hands going forward. So that's what I'm going to add probably in October. So, yes.
As far as, once this is in the sheriff's department,
Assuming it is.
assuming it is, do we have, would the board have any actual operational jurisdiction at that point, or is it just an advisory?
I think that's part of the discussion of what does the agreement or MOU or relationship look like. I don't think anybody's interested in just having, here you go, because why are we here for the 6 months? But I do think the sheriff has been open to the idea, and Mr. Bivens, about having this board in place, and where does it, ultimately DCS is probably our parent authority from a statewide level as it relates to the judiciary, but then, where does the board fit with the sheriff, and sort of laying out those sort of hierarchies and the legal structure. We got a lot of questions for the law department, clearly, but I do think the reason we're here is because there wasn't a board with oversight and engagement for decades, and that was addressing some of the major issues that we're going to deal with now. So moving forward, I think our best opportunity is to leave this in a place where it has a robust board that does have engagement and teeth and oversight in a capacity that's legal and proper, so that we don't get into this situation again a couple of decades from now.
And following up on that also, at some point, this board needs to have an opportunity to talk to DCS, since they are the licensing body of the facility, and we need to clearly understand what their role is and is not, and if
I would suggest invite them to a meeting.
they have been invited.
Yeah, they'll come.
So
If I invite them, they'll come.
yeah.
Thank you, I would appreciate
But
it.
that's a great position. That's a lot to chew on. Any other?
I'll have them here next time.
Any other big agenda items over the next 6 months we can always add to it, but.
This is not an agenda item, but I just want to point out that Mr. Bivens, to my recommendation, my thought on accreditation is that this is what Mr. Bivens has been working on, and his background is auditing Jeffrey prisons and juvenile centers. So, we have the right guy who knows how to get us there.
Agreed. Is there any other business today that you all want to tackle? It's a starting point, but I want to give the opportunity if anybody has any other questions. We asked a zillion questions on the tour, of course.
I have one more comment.
Yes, sir.
I will be very upset. I don't even think I need to say this, but I would be very upset if anybody was to learn someone's name and send my attention, and I heard and attributed that name back to one of the people that had gone on this tour. I'd be very upset. I'd be extreme. These kids deserve to not have their business aired in public once they're back there. They have public trials. There's things the media can see, but I don't want them. I don't want them to receive any publicity because we're trying to re-energize the Bean Center.
I think
everybody understands that, but I just want to make sure I said it.
we all signed our agreement on the front end. We all agree with it and take it very seriously. I think you'll have an issue there.
I do just have a comment also, I'm glad to share this because I want people to know that this board is taking this seriously. In my lead up to this, I actually had the opportunity to sit down and speak privately with 3 long-term employees in the detention facility. And the thing that I am so impressed now with what Mr. Bivens has done is literally every bullet about concerns that these employees had brought up are things that he had mentioned to us on our tour. The security and computer system, that's one of the first things that you talked about, the need for increased mental health, the need for more medical responsibility and oversight. Even the things like, and I love this when you brought up the uniforms and the shifts and raises and training and drug testing, the inconsistency in treatment of some of our kids, and concern about contraband getting in. And Mr. Bivens has already explained something that you can use when visitors come in. It's a state of the art, so there can be having been more security on that part, which I loved it. And also the fact that you were in the process of yourself sitting down and talking to all of these current staff members, and they're all going to tell them the same thing too. So I really believe, I've got a lot of faith in you that we're on the right track here. I will say that there was never any mention of mistreatment of one child in detention, not one. There was never even any hint of that. And one of them actually brought me, which I'd be happy to share with this board, unsolicited by me, and there's no names on any of this, but letters that some of the current, well, I don't even know if they're still there or not when these were written, wrote about their treatment and their thoughts about being in detention. So I'd just like to share those if any of you would like to read them.
Give them to the clerk, and she'll make sure the judge clears them before they leave here, and then we'll make a copy and make sure.
Absolutely, but when you read them, they really do speak to the efforts that staff has made to make sure that they are well treated, and the efforts to try to establish relationships with us. So I say all that to say there's been a lot right going on, even though there's been a lot that
Mr.
hasn't.
Bean deserves our thanks.
There's been a lot.
He's worked very hard for
Right.
50 plus years, and he has taken good care of the kids by and large. We just have to take some steps forward with regard to computers and medical care and accountability that just couldn't be done right now with him in charge. But he deserves our thanks. There's no question about that. And like I told you earlier, I see kids in my court, and we'll have that moment alone. Are they taking good care of you back there? Yeah, Judge, they're taking good care of you. I see kids that gain weight. The clothes fit better. They look healthier.
I think every letter mentions the good food.
They get medical care that's been ignored for years in their homes. So we see a lot of really good things, and there are some good people that work back there, and we're appreciative. And no one's here to run down Mr. Bain.
I agree with that. Is there any other business the board wants to tackle today? All right, seeing none. Next agenda item, is everybody agreeable to a monthly meeting? I don't have the date or the time because I want to make sure we coordinate with the judge and Mr. Bivens, but I think between now and the end of the calendar year, we should do that. I will get that out as soon as possible, and I will sort of float some ideas past you all to make sure we all have.
I think it would be
schedules. Are you
a good idea for them to see how the kitchen worked and have food back there at one time.
Yeah.
Serve lunch next time.
Serve lunch next time back there. I think it'd be a good idea.
All right, sounds good.
So
Meatloaf today was pretty good.
we're proud of our people that work back there. They've done a good job.
All right, we'll work on the schedule next. We'll meet monthly between now and the end of the year, and then we'll sometime in the fall determine, are we going to continue that schedule, or will we go to a different schedule or a different board structure? There's no other future agenda items, but I'll type all these up and make sure everybody gets those. And I want to say thank you. I want to thank all the commissioners. We literally had 11 commissioners here focused and determined to help. The tour we took was, it was clear that it was a safe, clean, and professional facility. And we are all focused on having it be a place of rehabilitation and hope for the juveniles that we're taking care of, our kids that are important, and the incredible community support that you've already experienced, and all of us have had somebody send an email or call and say, what can I do to help? I have no doubt that this board will help lead the charge. I have no doubt Mr. Bivens will do an excellent job, move us on the right path, and Judge Irwin will keep us on track.
It's nice to be able to rip the veil away and show people a little bit about what we do up here.
Yep.
And it's nice to be able to do that. And I'm glad that y'all took an interest and came up. It's sometimes we feel like we're lost in the shuffle down here.
Not anymore.
No, I don't think so. But I appreciate your interest and your concerns, and I can be reached any hour of the day. I think you've all got my number. So.
Anything else from the board before we adjourn today? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion.
Second?